Happy Thursday, everybody. Pat is enjoying his sausage. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jonathan with Cinco Squad, and with me are my boys, Mike DeSanto, Pat and the Sausage, and Grandpa Jay. How you guys doing today?
Great, bro.
Good, yeah.
Hungry.
Apparently, Pat. Apparently.
Man. It's been a very exciting week of sports in general. Like with, we got the U.S. Open for tennis. We got NBA. I feel like is Australia Open. Oh, I'm sorry, Australia Open. We got NBA basketball is picking up really good right now. A lot of good games out there. I mean, we got Golden State and Boston repeat right now. We're going on right now. College basketball is heating up. Conference play, like we decided back in October, that was going to be like this. And then, of course, the NFL playoffs are continuing.
Yep.
So, what was your guys' favorite part of the weekend other than football, I guess? Because Pat and I were on a bye.
Other than football? There's no other than football.
It was nice to see Syracuse win.
Well, for me, I had a swim meet in frigid degrees where some of the young kids did great, so I was proud of them.
Good
showing
shit.
how mentally tough they could be. And literally, it was like 38 degrees. And for Florida, that's a big deal when there's frost outside and kids have to swim.
Yeah.
But that was a big deal. So they really proved to me that like they were mentally tough. And so did my boys with the comeback of the year, beating those ugly Orange Tennessee Volunteers on Saturday, baby. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, you know me. I was golfing with Dad on Sunday, and I got to the course and I was in shorts and a polo. And he's like, it was like 40 degrees, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'll be all right. The sun's out. I'll be all right. I'll be all right, Dad." We played hockey in colder weather, so
that's true.
Thanks.
But Syracuse winning against Notre Dame, and then unfortunately, I'll get into my time at the Watsco Center. Other than the loss, it was a good time. But Mikey Mike, what about you?
Well, I didn't have a whole lot of success with my teams over the weekend. UNC's playing like absolute garbage. And I don't understand.
Game that counts. What are you talking about?
I'm getting there. But the success I did have was major because the Giants won a playoff game.
Bro, isn't it insane that the Giants' best playoff runs are always as a wild card team?
Yes.
It's insane.
The first when they beat the undefeated Patriots team, which I will never let anyone forget. They were a wild card that year.
They were 9-7 that year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
9-7 wild card.
Just snuck in.
Mm-hmm.
Did not deserve to be there.
No.
What? They won, bro.
Someone say. Some people would say.
I think
they won. They won, and they got.
Yep.
They beat the only perfect team to get to the Super Bowl in the modern era.
Anthony says, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Hello from Garrick. He says, Anthony corrects me and says, "Pat in the hat."
Go, baby.
So, but yeah, it was a good weekend of sports. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got NFL, my time at the Watsco Center, Australia Open, I'm sorry. And then we got some NBA talk that I know some of our listeners are going to be really happy to talk about. So,
yes.
But first, of course, we got to know what everyone is. We know what Pat's sipping on. Gildan's.
Golden mustard.
Mikey Mike, what you sipping on this week?
Okay. So, we actually have a new appearance for the first time in 2023. Jack Daniel's Blackjack Cola.
What?
You stop that right now, Mikey.
A JD Cola.
Delicious.
More like E. Cola.
Maybe.
Damn.
We'll find out in the morning, won't we? Anyway, Jay, what you sipping on?
Wait. Give your rating on that. What's up?
My rating?
Yeah. You can't sip it and say on to the next.
Okay. I mean, out of 10, I would say it's about like a 7 or 8. It's not the best soda, alcoholic soda I've ever had, but it's actually not bad. It's very sweet.
Okay.
Very sweet.
All right. Fair enough.
I got the Solo out, and normally this would be cause for a very cheap beer coming out of a keg. Unfortunately, that is not what I have in this cup. I'm sipping on orange juice with no gin, baby. So I just got that straight up OJ. Juice with no gin. Snoop would be so disappointed in me.
I got a juice. he had to go into full explanation. I got a juice and gin minus the gin, so you have orange juice. Okay.
Just juice. Pat, I know you want some heavy shit tonight, bro. Talk to me, Pat. What we been sipping on?
All right, guys. What's my favorite beer?
Well, bad blue.
Bad blue.
Ooh.
Light.
With the big deal.
What?
I seen
What
that
is
here.
this? What is this?
I seen that here down in Florida, and I was like, "What is that?"
Why is it such a big deal?
Sorry.
It's presented by Labatt with Barstool with Spit and Chicklets.
What is it? Though?
Okay.
Is it a dark bear?
Here
Is
we
it a
go.
light bear? What is it?
No, that's where I saw it. I saw it on Barstool. That's where I saw it. You ordered it?
Damn, that's a good beer.
What is it? Like, what's it taste like?
It's like a light beer with some like little aftertaste.
Nice.
That's
Of
a beer.
what?
That's the beer. Look, it's a big deal, Mike.
It's
a big
big.
deal.
Did you order that, or was that in stores up north?
No, sir. I got a 12-pack, and this 6-pack was right above the 12-pack. So, big deal, baby. Right? I gotta do it for the squad. Come on, baby. John, what are you sipping on over there?
Well, I'm not sipping on anything. I'm with Jamie. I think we're on the same side now. So I just got my Bang without vodka.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Bang energy
Bang.
drink, the official energy drink of
Yeah,
Mike
I'm
Bang.
having a Virgin Bane. No one ever said that.
And then I'm having my milk jug, of course. Of course.
Of course, gotta have it.
Of course.
Hey, I got my plastic juggie in the house too. No bang.
I don't have
having-
a jug.
Bro, I'll tell you this one. This
I'm
jug
having
right,
my Virgin
this
Bane.
jug right here is awesome because I accidentally left it in the car after the gym this morning,
Yeah,
and it was in the heat all day.
sweet.
And I put this originally in the freezer overnight, and then I took it to the gym, drank, and then left it in the truck by accident. Took it out around like 4:00. The outside was hot, but like I opened it up just to see if it was still cold. It was freezing inside. It's
Nice.
Wow,
good.
Bro,
quality.
my sister got me a
RTC.
She got me a
No free
Gatorade one,
sponsors.
and you can custom.
Go
you
for
can
it.
put something custom on it. So she put Coach J on one side,
That's cool.
and she put my birthday on the other side, 28, which is kind of cool. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's cool.
Custom.
I got that one. I'm gonna have to retire. This one is taking some blows, man. This looked like it's a damn basketball with the amount of beating this. Hey, speaking of that, bro, did you send that in the group with what it takes to create the football the way they want it? compared to-
Yeah, I follow that page. I follow that page on Instagram, and it's really. I didn't really know that all that went into. There's 30 steps that go into getting the football ready for game day. It's incredible. Like, and they do it quickly. Like
Mhm.
within, he said it takes them 45 minutes, and all they're doing is mudding the ball, scraping it off, mudding it, scraping it off, and it's just like, wow, I didn't realize that there was that much into it. I thought they just got it out of the bag and pumped it up, and there you go.
And I think it's cool that they talk with whatever quarterback the ball is for.
Yeah, like CJ Stroud grabs the strip so they don't put as much mud on there, but like some quarterbacks like it for a little bit more grip. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike.
It's truly custom made. Little did we know.
Like, what's
So
the
then
biggest-
that means they should have zero excuses for having a shitty game throwing the ball. If that ball's made for you, bro.
it was specifically for
Now we
you.
know. We ain't taking those excuses anymore.
Exactly.
So I think it's time for our Pay May parlay. I'll
Yes,
swing it
sir.
over to Jay and Pat here for a few minutes. We'll be back.
We did a good job last week.
Hey, what goes when you're down and you're out? You can only go up from there. So we went
Yes,
from
sir.
a winless week to 3-5. We're working our way to 5-5 this week. I
We
know
knew it
we
was
got
going
some locks
on.
for you
We
guys.
knew it was going on.
I know we got some lock for you guys. Pat, you want to start us off with your number one lock this weekend?
Oh, tomorrow.
The lock of the weekend. What you got?
Tomorrow, Grizzlies -7 over the LA Lakers.
In LA though? Do you think
In LA.
Wow.
Dude, I have a lot of faith in Memphis. I have a lot of faith in Memphis this year. It's -7. I think it's a 10-pointer.
Nice.
Over the Lakers on the road. Let's go. Ja Moran, baby. Let's go.
So I was teetering with the Bengals. There's no reason for the Bengals being giving the Bengals 5.5 is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's
And
ridiculous.
that number's changed a lot this week.
And it keeps going up in favor of everybody's taking the Bills on the low end. So they keep teasing it higher and higher to see if they're going to take the Bengals on the points.
Yes, sir.
So I was going to go with that. We're going to go with that. But you know what my number one is? Manchester United embarrassed the Arsenal Football Club earlier this year.
All right, I got no insight on this.
I'm telling you this. Arsenal is going to have some sweet revenge, and they are going to drop it the ball soccer. That's right. You know it's soccer, John. They're going to drop it on Manchester United and win that game by at least 2 goals. So Arsenal will prove that they are the best team in English football this weekend, and they will lay the hammer down on Manchester United. That is my lock of the weekend. What else you got for us, Pat?
All right. Back to the American football.
Americano.
We're going Chiefs-Jaguars. Chiefs -8.5. Earlier this week, it was -10.5.
It's now at 9. That means everybody's been taking the Jags.
Oh, we're going. No, right now it's 8.5.
Yeah,
so
I got it at 9 on another side. It's at 9 now.
All right. So either way, I'm taking the Chiefs on this part.
Okay.
Because we're going 10 to an 8 fluctuation right there.
Okay.
Chiefs -8.5. This is what I got. This is what I'm playing with. I like it even more that it was 10.5 earlier this week.
All right.
I like it even more. Chiefs will dominate. They got a week off, home field advantage over the Jags. Chiefs all the way with Mahomes.
Nice.
-8.5.
I like it. I'm going to stay on the gridiron with you. Like I just said, there is no reason to give the Bengals 5.5 points. The Bills last week were up by 10 points, and Josh Allen was throwing the ball at an average of 26 yards per play, which means they have no running game. So the Bengals are coming after Josh Allen all day long this weekend. He will turn the ball over. He has proven to do that under pressure, and the Bengals will capitalize on a late turnover to keep that game close or even take the lead. And the winner wins by 2 or 3 this weekend. No team is pulling away from the other in this one. Bengals 5.5 all the way. Give me your final pick of the week, Pat. What's your final pick of the week?
Oh, boy. Okay, this is one that it could be a throwaway. It could be a win. Depending on how you view this. -6 Cavaliers tomorrow against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
The Golden State Warriors have been exactly that, Golden State. They cannot play on the road.
Yeah.
Cleveland Cavaliers -6 over the Warriors.
You know what's so funny? I'm going the other way with that.
No!
Golden State needs a statement win on the road, and it's coming tomorrow night in Cleveland.
I like that one a lot, man.
Give me Golden State. I love the 6.5. So let's see what the boys have to say.
They can't win on the road.
They're going to take the Warriors there. They're going to just drop the ball game. Gentlemen,
No,
that's
a beautiful pay-made parlay right there. What do you guys like on that?
So you got Pat, you got Memphis to win straight up. Did I hear that?
Them covering.
Covering?
Yes, sir.
So I need to point something out.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, we have to choose between the Cavs and Warriors.
Yeah.
For the
Basically.
people.
Yeah.
For the people.
For the people, baby.
As Jalen and Jacoby always say, give the people what they want.
Baby, what do people want from us?
I think we'd confuse the better.
You know, I'm gonna take. I don't know about you, Mike, but I think I'm gonna go with Pat on this because I think I agree that the Warriors are struggling. I do see what you're saying, Jamie, but I think the Warriors are getting beat right now against Boston.
Because they're the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, but I mean that should be it. I mean that's finals rematch. So, what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, honestly, I think the Cavs are going to win that game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
by more than
Road
7 or more.
Warriors,
You think they're going to win by 7 or more, though?
I think there's a better chance in my head that they're going to win by 7 or more than it is that the Warriors are going to
lose by less than 7.
Saying by 10.
Hey, Jamie, walk through all the picks now for us, please.
Yes.
All right. So Pat's number 1 lock of the week Lock it up. He said,
go through.
there's no way that Memphis does not destroy the Lakers tomorrow night in LA. Take Memphis and all the points. It's 7.5. So Memphis wins by 6.5, actually, is what I have it at here. So Memphis by 6.5. So Memphis minus 6.5 to cover. I have Arsenal beating Manchester United by at least 2 goals. So Arsenal you take the minus 1.5 if you get it, and that's going to be a big bonus. Pat has the KC Chiefs covering whatever points, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
I got the Bengals at plus 5.5. Put it at minus 9 right now because a lot of sites have it at 9. The Bengals 5.5 to definitely cover, and I have them winning that game actually. And then thanks to the panel, you guys have all gone against my big road win. The Cavs cover the 6.5 against Golden State tomorrow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We would go 5 for 5 if you guys took my Golden State pick. I hope.
No, but we'll have to settle for 4 for 5.
What's the pay parlay without a loss? Come on.
Exactly. As the
Hey, as always, if you don't like it, take the opposite.
Yeah. Which in this case we gave you. So with the Warriors, we're not taking the Warriors headed to Cavs. We're taking the Cavs hosting the Warriors. And speaking of taking trips to arenas, John, I believe you took a trip to an arena this week. Why don't you regale us?
What a hell of a segue, man.
I know, right? I need. All right, he deserves. There you go. I'm just gonna sit here. Yes, I took a trip to the Watsco Center to watch Syracuse take on number 17 Miami in a must-need win for Syracuse, and unfortunately, Pat and I's Orange fell short of that, blew an 11-point lead. And honestly, there's really nothing they did wrong other than give up 39-foot three-pointers. And at that point, it's like, what do you do?
What do you do?
Like, you're covering, and if the guy's hitting from 39, 42 feet, like the guy pulled up right off at half court, knocks down the shot to take the lead. And it's like the arena went nuts. So, a couple things. If you're going to if you're ever in Miami and going to the Watsco Center, definitely. I was just telling Malin, my wife, that she's my wife, and 1 year's coming up next. Yeah, 1 year. I did tell her though, like when you're going down there, you need to get there. Like think about being there a half hour early because the traffic is unbearable. It's only a 2-lane road getting when you get down into the Miami campus. And, you know, it's a very trickery type parking lot to get into. So
was it well attended?
It was actually when they started making the run. That's when I started hearing the crowd and I was like, holy shit. Like I didn't, and Pat asked me during the game, he said, how much do you think they hold in there? I said 15,000, but that seemed like a very high number, but it could be, it wasn't full, but it was,
John, I don't mean to step on you. Someone I work with actually went to the same game coming back from a Disney cruise, and he said 16,000.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't look it up. I just looked around. I was just ballparking. Same thing.
He was like, "Yeah, I jumped in. It seemed like a gym. 16."
Yeah, I mean, and there's not a bad seat in the house. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. So I was contemplating. You know, there was a seat in row B, which is 2 rows off the court, versus the seats I sat in. But it was $100 versus $20. And the $20 seat was just as good. I mean, I got a full scope of the whole thing. I had no one next to me. I had like literally an aisle seat. It's once you get in there, it's very easy to walk right into the center. They have the lines at the concession aren't bad. I went in middle of halftime, got in, got out. You know, it's really a nice place to go. And I mean, it's pretty cool because I didn't know, but UM has a beach volleyball court right in the middle of the campus, and it's like okay. And there was like a bunch like guys playing, and I was just like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Guys were playing.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Pat, you would have made a pit stop if it was the other way around.
There's a bunch of dudes playing. I don't know. I was walking.
Hey guys,
it was fun. It was cool. It was interesting because like it's January and they're playing. beach volleyball like in the middle of the winter when you guys are freezing up there, right? So it's like it was just fun to me. So,
Meanwhile,
but I mean,
baseball
it was a nice experience. I've been there once before for the same type of game, Syracuse versus Miami. Unfortunately, my boys didn't come out with a win. Pat and I were joking. He's like, "No, it's a hologram of last year's game." I was like, "Get me the hell out of here!" Then that's where that's where we blew a 30-point lead.
It became reality. Yeah.
But it was fun. I give that arena probably 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
If accessibility and easiness to get in and out of the stadium is pretty good. When I left the stadium, I was home in 15 minutes, so no traffic, which is really good.
Let's just
John,
say
quick,
let's just say the women's volleyball was practicing in the middle of the court. Let's go.
quick fact check on the seating. It's a cozy 8,000.
Oh wow, okay.
Whoa.
So
Very cozy 8,000.
like I said, I think that number was high because I think they have the same type of arena that Duke has in North Carolina, and North Carolina and Duke both are around. I was surprised when Duke only had 9,000, but it makes sense.
Why the whole place?
They've got that on top of
Yeah, I mean, but you notice like the camera like can barely get the front court here.
Yeah.
Every time you see it, the guy's like, trying to get the guys on the court. So very good trip. I mean, shout out to University of Miami. They beat Syracuse. Unfortunately, this team.
No shout out.
This Syracuse team is just a year away. I think they have a lot of great talent, a lot of great opportunities, but it's just I think they're just young. Our freshman point guard made a minor error at the end of the game that he never really does, and it's a learning lesson, right? So at the end of the day, I would definitely suggest going to if you're in Miami and there's a college basketball game going on, I definitely suggest to go watch.
Speaking of college basketball, not to mean to put you on a spot, Mike, but Tuesday, Syracuse, North Carolina.
Oh boy, he's doing it on live on camera.
I'm doing it right here, Mikey.
Oh wow.
We could put it as a maybe.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Attaboy, Mikey.
That means a no.
That's a hard no.
Hella no.
It's not you, it's him.
Oh shit. Damn. You're gonna George Costanza me?
For all of our young viewers, that's Seinfeld.
Yes. I was gonna say I don't think there's a lot of viewers left that would know who George Costanza is.
It's all right.
Young viewers right now.
Hey,
but
I'll be in the JMA Dome with Mikey, and without his presence, it's gonna determine the outcome of the game. I'll just leave it up to him.
Oh, and I'm going to throw Pat on the spot. He's going to do a live take from there. So check out our socials from there. He's going to do a live take.
Yeah,
Since he's the face of our Instagram.
Just do
Not
it
if he
early.
talks like that.
Just do
Goldsman mustard.
Don't bring the
Let's go.
mustard with you, bro.
I'll bring mustard. I'm bringing the mustard
Bring
with
your
me.
home mustard with you.
Oh, wait. You guys out there in the atmosphere, do you want the mustard?
No mustard.
I'll bring the mustard.
No, you gotta bring an orange with you.
I'll bring an orange mustard. Fuck it.
But moving on from the Watsco Center to the NFL playoffs, I had an interesting, that we were talking this week, and not to shit on your parade even more, Jamie, but it brought up a good point. I mean, most of the so the NBA went to a conference seeding only, so that's how they seed their their playoffs, right? So 1 through 10 are going to be basic conference, doesn't matter division. Right. So should the NFL and other sports, go off of conference or division? Because realistically, you only play 6 games. And here's the thing that you need to think about when it comes to NFL. You only play 6 games in conference. And then you can go 11-6 and still make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. If you go 0-6. So do you guys think they should think about going to an NBA type style? And should sports in general go to an NBA type style? Jamie, what do you think? I was interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, this one's interesting to me because you said the whole point of divisions, right? And except for the AFC East, which makes absolutely no sense, you're creating these territory rivalries where fans can travel fairly close to go to rivalry games, right? And AFC East, we know, just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like you have a Florida team with a bunch of teams from the north. Anyway,
Same with Dallas.
So the point of the divisions is obviously to create these fan rivalries and then you make it fun. The divisions make sense, but the argument to make sure that the best teams are in the playoffs makes even more sense. And this year, we look at the team that got left out. That would have been the most exciting game. I really think the Lions would have made the 49ers shit themselves if they had to play the 4. I really think. I don't think they would have won the game. I think they would have made them shit themselves for at least 3.5 quarters, and the Niners would have closed them out eventually and won by about 10. But it would have been a very competitive game all the way down the wire, bro. They were the grittiest team in the NFC by far. The way
they were playing their best football at the right time,
right?
And I agree with you, Jay. Like, because if you look at it, it would have been Niners, Lions, Vikings, Seahawks, and then it would have been Giants, Cowboys, which as the NFL looking at it as a scope, it's 3 solid games, and the ratings are going to be high because everyone's
imagine that Monday night game instead of the shit show we just saw. That would have been an incredible Monday night game, full of hard hits.
And not to shit on Dallas or anything like that, but you know, Mr. Cinco and I were talking
Giants Cowboys.
Because that's how, if we would have went off 1 through 7 in the conference, it would have went the Buccaneers don't make the playoffs. The Lions make the playoffs.
No,
yes. The Lions are 9-8.
Yes. If you go off conference, yes, it is.
No, you need a South Conference team.
Right.
That's what we're saying we would get rid of.
We get rid of the division.
Because you win your division, you don't automatically qualify. It's top 7 records. That's what we're saying.
Oh, we're going hypothetical.
Yeah. So should they do that because the NBA has gone to that method? There's still division.
So you're saying the Buccaneers, the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers should not be a part of the playoffs.
No. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, honestly, because if you go off conference, just like the NBA does, NBA has divisions still. People don't realize that, but they don't have. They don't go off that for playoffs. So if one division doesn't have any teams, okay, you had a shit year. Do you really want to watch what happened on Monday night?
But
you know how much ratings were down?
Happened in the NBA, like a B1 from the division, because now they've gone to 10 potential teams.
Correct.
Have one that's left out.
But as they keep expanding, so as they keep expanding the playoffs, because I think it will get to 8 teams at one point or another in the NFL, where they'll have we'll go back to like what we talked last week, where it was 1-2 bye. But I mean, realistically, San Francisco and Philly were the best teams in the conference, and then like you go off of that type of order. So I think I agree with you, Jay. I think the Lions give the 49ers a good game because I think they're playing their most prideful football right now. No, that Seahawks game wasn't in 49ers game. I mean, everyone says it was a blowout, but it was a good game until 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. If Geno doesn't fumble the ball and scores a touchdown there, it's a tie game.
However, they shut the Seahawks out for the entire second half, right? So
no, the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, the whole second half. They didn't score till like 2 minutes left.
But after that fumble, it kind of depleted their energy in the sense, which it shouldn't have. But
that was also after a penalty that was going to lead them to an end zone drive.
Correct. That's what I was saying. It's like it kind of like they were on the 15 and he fumbled it, and I was like, oh. If you remember my chat, I was like, Geno, hold on to the ball, man. Like, Mike, what you think up there?
No, honestly, I would have much rather have seen a Lions team that was riding high going into the playoffs after making sure the Packers didn't make it. So if you imagine, you take that and you take top 7, and in the future, I agree, top 8. Mm-hmm. That game suddenly becomes a playoff game because winner gets in. Mm-hmm. So the Lions win that game. Let's all things being equal, let's say everything else goes the same way it did. Just, the stakes are different, slightly different.
Right.
The Lions go in not only having earned the playoff spot with the win, they did it by beating their rivals. So, like, the Lions are riding high going into the playoffs. They're feeling good. They're playing with house money, playing a Niners team that I agree, they and Philly are the top 2 teams in the conference this year. But if you're you could say Aiden Hutchinson-led defense in Detroit, you're looking at Brock Purdy like, that's a third stringer, Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah, he's been playing good game, but it's not one of the elite quarterbacks. We could do something here.
Yeah. Make him make his mistakes. Right. And then if you look on the AFC side, Buffalo still plays Miami, but then you have the Bengals playing the Jaguars, and then the Chargers playing the Baltimore Ravens, which I think could be more of an interesting matchup, right?
Jaguars already beat the Ravens. So.
You mean the Chargers?
Yeah.
No. The Jaguars already beat the Ravens regular season.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, but but on the standings,
they also destroyed the Chargers.
Baltimore has a better record than Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You got to beat your division. This is where I'm getting at.
But we're talking about.
I get what's going on, but you got to play your division.
You don't. It's not.
We're not changing the division.
We're not changing the division.
Let me finish this. You're playing home and away against your division.
Right.
You're getting that record against it. It should seedings for playoffs go off conference or division. You're not playing a conference home and away. You're playing your division home and away.
Yeah, I guess, but you're only playing 6 games. You're playing 11 games out of conference, so you can go 0-6 in your division and still make the playoffs.
Whoa! You're playing 11 games out of division, but that's also including out of conference too.
Right, but you're also playing. So say the Giants this year. Hold on. Let me say
I'm right about this.
There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong, though.
I'm right about it. You want a home and away against division.
I'm not saying take that away, though. But you could still miss the playoffs. So you can go 6-0 in your division and then go 6-11 and not make the playoffs.
How can you do that? You're winning 12 games.
So if you win your only 6 games and you go 0-11 against the rest of the schedule, you just beat your division. That team is 6-11, and that deserves to go into the playoffs. I don't get how that makes any sense.
They won their division.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Versus an 11-6 team that deserves it. But that's what we're trying to say is should it go off of conference?
Exactly what I'm
saying. That's how the NBA is. In the NBA has divisions.
They're winning their division. They're going
not in the NBA. In the NBA,
about the NFL.
But that's what I'm trying to say, though. You're not listening. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm listening.
We're trying to explain this to you.
The question is, should it
I know what you're saying.
No. You're saying no. You don't agree.
Saying.
You don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't agree.
That's all. You don't agree.
Okay.
This schedule is more rigorous than the NBA. You're not playing 16 games.
You're playing 82 games.
Exactly. You got to win your division in the NFL if you want to make the playoffs. If you go winless in your division, should you be in the playoffs?
That's what we're saying, though. If you go 0-6, you're going 11-6, you're going to make the playoffs, most likely. So if you go 0-6 and get 11-6, most likely you're going to make the playoffs. That's what we're trying to say. Is that ultimately you're going to make the playoffs regardless.
If you win your division, you should make your playoffs. That's what I'm saying.
No, but then we
get the NFL.
Okay, I get your side. I mean, that's what I was saying.
Because you just want to be invited to the dance, and then you can dance with anyone you want.
Right.
Marshawn Lynch, Seattle Seahawks. You're playing against the Saints, and you get a beastquake. Yes, you should be invited.
Yeah, but then and this.
And then what? And then what?
Jamie, I think understands here. But then you get a under 500 Tampa team that looks like absolute garbage against.
But we knew the whole time the NFC South is bad.
So we keep them out.
Exactly.
But that's
why are we kicking a whole division out?
Because they sucked.
They didn't
win good football.
But look at what you want.
All right, all 3 of you, stop talking. What's the point of playing?
But listen.
But that's what we're saying. The point of playing is not good.
To win the game.
What's the point of playing a game if you're not having a?
But they're not playing good football, Pat.
Good enough.
They're playing terrible football
against the other teams. Because
You
you're not
gotta
just going to
beat
play
your
your division
division.
in the playoffs.
If you beat
But if
your
you suck
division,
against every
you
other
should
team-
make the playoffs.
All right, so 3 against 1. Pat
This
thinks
is
3.
This is a stupid conversation. I'm just saying.
No.
This is stupid.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like it
Right,
doesn't.
if the Buccaneers lost every fucking game against the NFC South, they shouldn't be in. Yes. But they beat majority of the NFC South. They should be in the
No, they
playoffs.
didn't.
Because
They
you
were
know
3-3.
That's 50%.
Exactly. That's not good enough. That's what I say.
But they go
But
off
they
the-
had a winning record going into the playoffs.
But that's what they're saying. That's what we're trying to say is they don't go off of the division record. The division record's only if you tie. No one tied. They had a better overall record. That's what we're trying to say. That's all we're saying.
So it's an elimination
That's
of
fine.
winning of getting in by automatically winning.
The only reason
by winning your
Buccaneers had
division.
a 50% chance against their division. They had a winning percentage against conference. They had a winning percentage. Should you be in over the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers?
Yes.
Yes. Out of the divisions, yes, you should be in
But
there.
should you be in over a Lions, a Packers, teams that have winning records?
Is it fucked up? Yes. Is it right?
Change it.
Yes.
I mean,
you gotta be there.
that's
You
why we
gotta
that's why we
be
have
there.
this conversation. Ultimately,
Who had a losing record against the conference? The Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints.
Well, yeah.
the Panthers were 4-2 in division,
And
and so were the Buccaneers.
against the rest of the league.
The conference. You're talking about the conference.
You
Are
had
you talking about the
to have-
conference? Are you talking about the conference or the division?
All the other teams finished one game behind the
Either
Bucs.
way.
But I'm saying like I'm looking right now. The Panthers and the Buccaneers both finished at 4-2.
No. The thing is, you
That's
guys
right.
are
They were 4-2. They beat
comparing
the Saints
a
twice.
longer
that's-
season of the NBA to the shorter season and more strenuous season of the NFL. It's not comparable. It's not comparable. Who
The
had
playoffs are though. Like the
Who-
matchups are.
Playoffs.
The,
No, it's not.
Playoffs?
okay, we can
who
agree to
had-
disagree.
Who
Like
had a better
you-
record?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
I
like
know
my
I'm not
opinion.
wrong.
But you're not. But you're telling me I'm wrong, and that's my opinion, bro. Like there's no right or wrong answer.
Mikey,
So
Mikey,
There- It's,
So, like-
you know
it's in
what?
comparison.
If it was Brady and Rogers for the final spot, battle royale. Forget playing a game. Battle
I
royale.
don't
Brady
give a
and
shit.
Rodgers.
We'll get them in the ring.
No,
I don't know.
It makes no sense to compare the two when the NFL is a more rigorous schedule.
okay, I'm not competing against that. I'm just basically saying you play. So I'm taking what you're saying that they play 6 games. Okay, they play home and away 6 games, but then they play 11 out of conference games, and you can go 0-6
Out of
and
division.
still
Out
make.
of conference.
Division game.
No, on a
Out of-
division. Right, but you can still go 11-6 and make the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. You can go 0-6 in your division and still make the playoffs.
Pat, here's what I'm saying.
Fine.
It don't make
That's
sense to
fine.
you. Hold on. It don't make sense to you, but you know what make dollars? Pay me parlay. If you guys join us earlier, we got a locks in for this weekend. That's gonna be up on our Instagram. Make sure you guys follow us. We're gonna post that up.
And next week, Pat and I are gonna duke it out. So
straight dollars. All right.
put them up.
Next week, John and Pat drop the gloves in the octagon.
In the same jersey.
It just doesn't make sense. You
All right, I respect your
You
opinion.
gotta
Bro.
win your division or have a better record than your division.
So how about Rafael Nadal, man?
Yeah,
Like-
right? How about that Rafael Nadal guy?
Poor Nadal,
I love you, brother.
My mom loves that guy more than
Good-
any other athlete. And she's already done.
Love you too, man. Love you too.
Done
You know
with
I
the
love you,
Australian
dude.
I know, I love it too. Look, we're wearing the same fucking jersey. Come on now. Like, come on.
You know, guys, on a side note, soccer is very entertaining if you get into it.
Yeah, fuck that side note.
All right, so quick note before we head out of NFL talk. Who we got this weekend? KC or Jaguars? I just want to go through and get our picks. We didn't do our picks last week.
To win,
Yeah, Jamie, who you got?
Just to win?
I can't go against the Chiefs at home. I don't think they lose 2 home playoff games in a row if you take last year into account. So I got to go with the Chiefs.
Yes, sir.
Pat, you already got them, right?
Yep, Chiefs too.
Mike?
Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Home.
Ah, you guys are gonna hate me. I'm going the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Whoa!
What?
Da-da-da, da-da-da. ESPN, don't sue us.
Yeah, right. They get blown out 45-0. Oh, bad pick. All right, so Jamie, who do you have in the Eagles-Giants game?
Oh,
I don't
Jay,
think you don't have to ask the three.
No, don't go Jamie first. Don't go Jamie first.
Go
Jamie's
Mike.
Why? We already know the other two.
No, Jamie's the side factor. I like that. I like to.
G-Man.
Oh my God.
I got the G-Men winning because
Is that points?
your boy Hurts doesn't show up in the playoffs.
Ooh.
How can you make that statement?
You don't
Because
even
he's
know that.
85%. He's
You've never
85%.
seen Daniel Jones in the
He's
playoffs.
I'm not gonna- you
85%,
just
and
did.
Daniel Jones is playing at 101%. A lot of
Vikings doesn't
times,
count, Mike.
the quarterback who's playing.
He's off the injury report.
When
It's real to
he
me.
played a pretty
damn it.
shitty game against the Giants last time he was on the field.
It was just a wing.
Backup players against backup players. I'm going with the G-Men with the upset.
I love you, Jamie.
You're weird, dude. You're weird.
Yeah. All right. So for all of our audio listeners, Pat and myself are wearing all Eagles gear, same
Go
McNabb
Birds!
jersey.
Go Birds!
Mike
Black
is
Donovan!
wearing a New England Patriots
I am
Black Donovan!
a Giants sweatshirt and hat.
Big blue.
So we're all going there.
I'm
All
representing
right.
blue in my blue polo right now.
We'll take it. It's not the right shade, but we'll take it.
All right. So Bengals Bills. I think that's
Jamie, you're weird.
Close
man.
enough.
Bengals Bills.
Bungalows. I hate to think the Bills season comes to an end, but I got the bungalows.
Jamie, you're really weird.
Mike.
Give me the Buffalo Bills
Buffalo Bills. Pat.
by like a field goal.
I'll take the Jills all day, baby.
The who?
The Jills.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills.
All
And the
right.
Jills.
I am going to side with Jamie. I think that Buffalo has not looked good since week 10 and
Wow!
continue to
Decision.
not look like a star defense. So I'm going to go with the Bengals in this game.
That should be the best game of the weekend, I think. So
It's my most anticipated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good game.
All right, and
There's supposed to be some snow too.
now we go to
Yeah.
that'll make it interesting.
the
We like
Dallas
some snow in the
Cowboys.
playoffs, baby.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys versus the overrated Niners.
Let's all say this together. Mike, you say San. I'll say Francis. Just John, you say 40. Pat, you say Niners.
3, 2, 1,
San.
Francisco.
4.
Oh, 4.
D.
Of course, the Eagles guys mess it up.
One more time.
Santa?
Rotate.
Where's Santa?
Go for it.
Hold on. Take two.
Take
And
two.
action. San.
Francisco.
40. Oh, did you?
No, we're going around the horn, you ass.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Do it again.
Right. Take
Oh,
three.
Jesus Christ.
1, 2, 3. San.
Francisco.
40.
Niners.
Oh, my God, we made it.
Well done, bro.
The
All
whole,
right. So
that whole
we got-
thing's going to be included in the picks clip.
I
by the
love
way.
it.
Of
I
course.
love it.
Of course. Well, it should be an interesting. It should be a good week. Hold on. It should be a good weekend in football for real, though. I mean, good luck, Mike. You're gonna need it.
Yeah, good luck, Mike.
Good luck.
Wait, you know what's
John.
really
That's
cool?
a threat. That's
What's
I'm
very
gonna
cool
need
is all of us have a different 4.
Why?
That's pretty cool.
That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do. Because I have the Jags.
You're fucking.
He laughs.
You're fucking weird.
Trevor Lawrence undefeated on Saturday. Such a stupid stat, by the way.
It is. Did you know
Actually,
he's never
it's
lost?
crazy.
That's-
So
The fact that that's a stat is fucking weird, man.
That's nuts.
So it's funny. It's funny too because like that is the biggest thing. They go Pat Mahomes, both going for streaks.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes going for 4 straight AFC title games, and Trevor Lawrence going for 5 straight. No, this is his 4th straight.
Okay.
And he's going to try to break the record, and it goes Trevor Lawrence never lost on Saturday.
How many high school games are played on a Saturday?
None. But in
None.
Clemson,
Friday Night Lights.
in Clemson, like 32 games were on a Saturday or something.
And the only losses came on a Monday night and a Friday night, which were the semifinals and the national championship game.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, sir.
alrighty, so we got our picks for the weekend. Tune in this weekend. We'll have a lot of great football, and Pat is going to chug a bottle of mayonnaise if the Bills win. Mustard.
Mayonnaise mustard mix.
You mean if the Bengals win?
Yeah, I don't know. No. But talking about
Mike, that's the one.
Talking about sadness this weekend so far, the king of tennis, Rafael Nadal, is out at the Aussie Open. I think he re-tore his quad.
Hip injury.
Hip.
Quad related. But yeah.
Is this the end for Rafael Nadal following in his brother's footstep, Roger Federer?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Is Joel Embiid Jamie, I'll let you fire away first. Go ahead.
So, when we speak of Nadal, we have to recognize that it's greatness we're speaking of, right? 22-year career. With this year, he's in his 22nd year of his career. 92 titles, 14 French Opens, 22 Grand Slams. Nobody's ever won that many at one tournament, and he has the most Grand Slams ever. He is one of 3 men to have the career Golden Slam. That's Olympic gold medal, and he's won all 4 major titles. He also won the Davis Cup with Spain, 2019, won all 8 matches. He's won everything he could possibly win in the sport. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you would think if you span the career of 22 years, you spend 429 weeks as number 1, you're going to have a lot of success. But the thing about him, he's been one of the most classiest champions of all time. Yeah. And I don't want to see him go out like this. I don't want to see him go out where he has to retire from tournaments or he has to putter out because his health is deteriorating. I think he has one more French Open in him. I'm not sure if he can make Wimbledon or the U.S. Open. If he does, he's going to just drop his schedule down to just play a couple tournaments before to be in the majors at least. But it's not.
Tiger.
I want to see one more magical run from him. It's probably going to be in the French. I don't see much after this. So I think if he bows out now with grace, it'll be the best time to walk away from him.
Yeah, I mean, I
still love watching him play. He plays at such a high level still.
It goes back to a lot of players that we grew up watching: Derek Jeter, Kobe, Michael when in the 90s, Shaquille O'Neal, a lot of those guys, and it was sad to see them walk away from their sport. But them being kind of a shell of who they were is kind of sad too, because it's like, damn, there's so much more that people, especially like when people say, like younger people start saying like, oh, well, who is this guy? Like, why is he not the great, that type of thing. It's always heartbreaking because it's like, no, you don't understand the pinnacle that these guys were at. So it's almost like, I agree with you, Jay. Get healthy, go one more strong year, battle your ass off, win a couple tournaments, and then go out on a high horse, kind of like Kobe did, like Derek Jeter did, like a lot of these guys did that they deserved it and whatnot. It's sad to see because I turned on SportsCenter. That was the first thing that popped up, and I was like, damn, man, he just came back from being like injured last year. So, Pat, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's kind of weird that like he would play this card of the mentally part. Like he even has a quote of, "Can't say that I'm not destroyed mentally at this time because I will be lying. It's hard for me." Dude, we've seen athletes at their pinnacle and just say, "Hey, I'm done. I reached the top of the mountain. I'm done."
Yeah.
Why do you gotta be here, man? Like, I feel bad for him that he's got to say, "This is where I'm at." You could have walked away at a long time ago. He's been at the pinnacle. He's been at the peak.
I get what you're saying.
I wish
it's like he had such a great year last year. It may have deceived him how hurt he actually is because he was performing at such a high level at the big moments.
Right. It may have been we bring it back stateside. Tom Brady, we got videos of him throwing the Lombardi trophy, walking away inebriated. Like, dude, I wish that was our lasting effects of you instead of check down, throwing it out of bounds against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Nadal, I wish
I
you
agree.
were at the top of the mountain right there. Boom, man. Hey,
I-
walk away when you're the elite, you know?
I think it's tough for us guys to sit here and say, like, how can they not walk away, like you said? Because Pat, I'm in total agreement with you. Like,
It's tough. I know.
it's. I mean, think about all four of us have tried to when we had to hang up our cleats, hang up our skates, hang up our swim cap.
Oh, bro, I got no say this, man. Shit.
We don't really hang anything, but I
still wear my Speedos, bro.
Hey,
I mean, it's
Speedos across my bed
anymore.
But it's. I think it's just a level where you kind of. I agree, Pat. Like, eventually, you got to say, enough's enough, and Mike, what?
I'd rather go out on top. That's all I'm saying.
What happened, Mike?
Oh, your mic went a little.
Just muzzle
robot-y.
fuzzle.
Yeah.
Like somebody's tapping
Muzzle
into this.
Oh, it must be because I'm hitting the plug. Sorry.
Why are you doing that, man?
Because I don't know.
Seems like a big deal brewery.
Mike, what you think? I know you kind of agreed with the whole Jeter point we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think I agree with what pretty much everybody has said. You'd love to have seen him walk away at the peak, being like in the top 5, number 1, wherever he could get himself settled in the world rankings, winning a major, like go out with one more major win. But I do agree with you that I agree with you, Jamie, that I think he's got one more run left in him. It's like a Jeter or a Mariano, or I guess from a football perspective, from what we've seen, like a Favre or a Manning, where they may not be at the top of their game, but they're that gunslinger that'll come out for one more run, one more season, one more round of majors. I think he's got one. I think he knows obviously how to take care of his body. He's been around for 22 years. I think he'll be able to get himself back to enough of a playing shape that he'll probably take that Tiger route, only play limited amounts of tournaments going into majors and stuff like that, and just give it one more push.
Yeah.
And for the sake of the sports world and, the sake of being able to see a legend, a GOAT of his game go out the way he wants to, I hope he can, because I'd love to be able, even though I'm not like the biggest tennis fan, I understand it enough and I appreciate it enough. And especially Nadal, guys like Nadal and Federer and Djokovic and guys like that, to want to, as a sports fan, say goodbye in the proper way.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing that a lot of athletes, and I think it started off with Kobe having that farewell tour. I very indifferent about the farewell tours because you ultimately get the shell of the player until the final night, like Kobe's 60 points, Jeter's walk off at Yankee Stadium. Against Buck Showalter, who was his first manager. Awesome. So it's like, you get those storybook because then you see what could be, but then you start to get to thinking like, well, maybe if he came back for one more year,
one more push.
But I think he's going to take the, like you said, because soccer and tennis kind of schedules are kind of similar in a sense where they play tournaments, and at that level that Nadal is at, he's earned the right to kind of play tournaments as what he wants. So, and that's what Tiger's status is. And like, I forget who I was talking to, but I think someone at work, and they were talking about how come Tiger doesn't have to compete in the FedEx Cup and stuff like that and still get to play in these tournaments. I'm like, because he's Tiger fucking Woods. That's why. He's won 82 tournaments, and he went on and he held the number 1 for almost 16, or no, not 16 years. I'm sorry. It was like 10 years worth of tournaments. Like, so that's why he can just come in and play.
Right.
And from experience, the Valspar tournament over in Copperhead over on Innisbrook in Tampa, Florida, he decided to go there, and the attendance went from 50,000 to 150,000. So, and he almost won and he should have won the tournament. So he was in the final.
Mike, to your point, ironically this year, because his countryman Carlos Alcaraz bowed out with an injury, he was the number 1 seed going into this tournament.
Yes, he was.
So that's what made it even more. That's what hurt even more. You figure like, okay, normally the number one has the easiest bracket until they get to play a very challenging match, maybe in the round of 16 or quarterfinals, depending on who wins and loses, right? But at one, you're saying, okay, you look pretty good in the first round, and you see him pull up with the injury, you're like, there's no way he's making it through his match. And to his credit, the number 2 player in the tournament, who's Casper Ruud from Norway, who's like a 22-year-old young buck, he bowed out to a young American last night. So now Djokovic is sitting there at the 4 seed saying, thanks, boys. You just made it pretty easy for me to win another Australian Open. So I don't see no way Djokovic loses this tournament now.
What about Andy Murray?
Pardon me?
What about Andy Murray?
Andy Murray, I think, won another 5-setter last night, but he's unranked now. He's just kind of playing on borrowed time. I think this is definitely his last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
He looked good. I saw a clip of him from his match, and he looked. We went through a whole volley where he's just running back and forth. But that may just be him putting everything he's got.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens here coming up. I think that Nadal probably is a lot of emotions because one of his good friends, Roger Federer, he had to walk away, which was very emotional to watch that ceremony because you could see the brotherhood behind them, those two. With the emotions, the tears, everything. So I think that's a lot of mental game that is playing into it. So, and I think he wanted to give Roger his dues, and then he'll do his here coming up. So, but I mean, hey, best of luck to Roger Nadal. Hopefully he comes back strong, and we can see him win one more major and then go out on the high horse that he deserves. So,
yes.
Speaking about high horse, talking about Joel Embiid of the NBA. Is Joel Embiid the real MVP of the year?
Real MVP, please stand up. Please.
And why? Mike.
Yeah, sure, I'll start. No. He is not the real MVP this season of the NBA.
Stop the squad now.
The real MVP of the NBA this year is, I believe, in my mind, is currently and will be by the end of the season, Luka Doncic. Luka is currently averaging near a triple-double. He's only a rebound short of what Embiid's averaging. He's beating him in points. It's a very slim margin, so they're essentially scoring at the same rate, but he's also getting the assists. Embiid's not. I think I also think when you look at an MVP, while Embiid, I think, has been and is the best player on his team, he has a better team around him, on paper at least, than Luka does. So I think Luka gets the edge on the kind of who's the best player on their team talk as well by a little bit.
Yeah, Mike, I agree with you 100%. And looking at, and I think it's the Luka story this year. So every year we get a player in the NBA that they hype up, and they hype up, and they hype up, and they hype up, and typically that player at the end of the year will win the MVP, even if statistically, Luka over the last couple of years probably deserved it, right? Jokic played great. Don't get me wrong, but last year it probably was Luka's award. But Mike, I agree with you. I'm looking at the stats right now. Luka's averaging 33, 11, and 9, and the only category that Embiid is at the top is in points. And I think he's probably at 10. Or something, 9 rebounds or something like that.
Right at 10, it's 9.9.
Okay, so 10 rebounds a game. But, and I think he is a very critical, but I agree with you, Mike. I think what happens with Joel Embiid is he has Harden. He has a lot of good role players around him that make him great, which isn't a problem. Without him, they're not a good team. They're not a playoff team. So, I kind of agree with that. But I think the most pivotal part of Dallas and being I think Dallas is over 500. I think they're 24 and 22. I think the only reason why they're 24 and 22 is because of Luka.
Yeah, Luka is the Dallas Mavericks.
So do they make a deep run? No. So no shot to Embiid because I think he's been in the running the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think it's his time. Maybe next year they'll start hyping him up, and then we'll see him at the end of the year hold that trophy up. Jay, you watch a little bit more NBA than both of us. What are you thinking?
So here's the thing about Embiid. Embiid's missed a couple games this year, right? And that's kind of going against him. I think his team's played about 38, and he's missed, I think, 6 of those games. So in 20 of the 31 games he's played, he scored 30 points. Like, that's pretty damn impressive.
That's really good. That's really
awesome. You also see from him is he can do it in like 30 minutes. He doesn't need to play a lot of minutes. He dominates for a short period of time, and then you see Philly make these ridiculous runs, like these 10-0 or these 14-2 runs, because he just takes full control of the game. He takes control of the game from a defensive standpoint, rebounding the ball. He'll get offensive rebounds and get second opportunities for himself and his team. And he does things at some of the highest levels that an MVP player you want them to do on a nightly basis when he's healthy. That's what he always has and has had working against him. And that's what sucks. So we look at the top five right now. Right now, they're saying Jokic is at 1, Luka's at 2, Tatum's at 3. Giannis just jumped KD because KD's recent injury. So Giannis jumped up to 4 and Embiid at 5. And the one name on that list where people are just, they sleep on it. And the amazing thing is Jaylen Brown's also in the top 10 right now with another player on his team playing at an MVP level. He is still averaging 38 and 4. And Tatum is playing by far the best basketball of his life. He's shooting the best. And nobody's mentioning his name. And it sucks for Tatum because he's going to be buried between Luka, Jokic, and Embiid. And he's sandwiched in there where nobody's going to talk about him. And that's
So an interesting thing, because Mr. Cinco watches a lot of NBA. I think you two and Pat are probably the three that watch a lot of NBA. Mm-hmm. And one stat that he brought up to me, because we were talking about Derrick Rose and what could have been, and how the number 27, like age 27, is usually when you start to see guys hit their peak in the NBA. It might be a little shorter now because of the one and dones and now coming back out of high school. But I think 27 is the age that we'll see Tatum make it. And I agree with you. I think he's a phenomenal player. He's really fun to watch.
Bro, he had another
really fun to watch.
He now has the most 50-point games in Celtics history, and he's not even 5 years into his career. What the hell?
So he's 24. He's 24 years old. He's got a lot of talent, and he just keeps getting better. But I think, Pat, you'll agree they're not hyping him up enough to give him that award.
Well, I don't think they should because of Jaylen Brown being on the roster. I think the real MVP is most valuable player, and I think that belongs to Jokic. Embiid, he's got every caliber of the game that is firing that can get the Sixers where they got to be, but he has late game blunders, if you would, where he tries to force it, he tries to push it, and he cannot get it done. Where Jokic just makes every player around him so much better. It's a lot different from a big guy that can shoot to a big guy that can play the point guard. It's a lot different between the two players.
It's like a Magic Johnson.
Exactly like Magic Johnson. Jokic playing the point where that's not his position. It's not his position. He plays his position as a 5 center a lot better than a lot of other 5 centers.
You're right in saying he's a point center, though. He's at 9.7 assists per game, highest in his career.
Exactly.
He's 0.3 assists away from averaging a triple-double as a center.
Exactly.
When has this ever happened other than Will having 10 blocks a game for like 40
and we've seen Westbrook do it. He's averaged a triple-double, but that was kind of like an assisted triple-double. It's not a real triple-double like Jokic could get to.
Yeah.
Embiid dribbles it off his foot. He can't make a free throw. Jokic can bring the Nuggets to the top level of the Western Conference Finals, and that's where the MVP discussion starts.
But he does have support from Jamal Murray, who's playing at an all-star level.
Okay, and Embiid has James Harden.
Than James Harden is, though. Jamal Murray.
I think a lot of these guys are playing. I think with the NBA and how diverse it is now as a teams, the parity and diversity in the team are so great, meaning the fact that the playing level, like you'll have a Jokic, but then like you said, a Jamal Murray is playing at an all-star level. You'll have a Jason Tatum, but then you have a Jaylen Brown. You'll have a Joel Embiid, and then you'll have a James Harden. So it's like you think about that, any team would love to have that, right? So, and a lot of teams do, which is great. I mean, and I think that's great for basketball because it makes the games that much more competitive. That's why I said in the beginning of the show, NBA is starting to heat up now competitively. Now it's starting. Like I've been watching my Heat like the last few games, and they've been playing okay basketball. I think the moves in the not making any moves in the offseason is what's going to hurt them down the road, but we'll see here. So, I mean, they still got to compete against the Celtics, which I don't want to play at all. Like they're so much better.
They're very.
Hold on, to back up your point. The lead turnovers per game this year: Giannis at 4, Trae Young at 4, Luka at 3.7, Embiid at 3.7. Those are your top 4 this year. So it proves to your point that he's gonna. But Luka turns the ball over that much because he plays the most minutes per game by far.
Right.
So he's in the game longer than anybody else.
Honestly, I think the MVP talk comes from Embiid to Jokic. I think Doncic really has the MVP. He is the most valuable player to his team comparative to the entire NBA.
Well, yeah, because to your point, with that, to your guys' points, with that, like that next level all-star playing with them, Luka's the one in that discussion that doesn't have that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's Luka, but then there's not like, other all-star.
Right.
Right. You don't have the comparative. You got the Robin to the Batman. You know.
Right. There's just Batman.
Luka is fucking good, man. he should be right there in every MVP talk above everything else.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I said in the beginning, I think each year they pick a guy and they start hyping him up towards right around now. And that's when it starts going. And you know what the crazy part is? He's 23 years old.
23 years.
And he's only been in the league 4 years.
You know what the crazy part is, and this is coming from me, I'm a LeBron James hater, is the NBA has a fatigue for the MVP talk. LeBron could win the MVP every league he's in. You know what I mean?
Bro, 38-7, 30
and
points.
he's still doing it how he's been doing it.
But they need a new story, and they need someone hyped up other than the same person.
Reason Karl Malone has won the MVP over Jordan. It's MVP fatigue over the NBA.
Right. Which is why I think Jokic doesn't get it. Right. Because he's gotten the last 2. There would be like, no.
I didn't think he'd get it last year, and he did.
Hey, that's the point I was going to bring up. I don't think he should have got it over Embiid last year.
I don't think he should have gotten over Luka.
Hey, you know who's going to get it tonight, though? This guy, because guess what time it is, baby?
Oh, no.
It is. Where's your ball?
Who's going to get it tonight? I got a few fucking Tinder messages.
God, Pat.
There it is. Gentlemen, we have finally reached the point in the show where we get to try and stump each other. The way this works is pretty simple. We pretend like we know everything. We cheat and use our phones. We always pretend like we're not using our phones, but hey, we get it wrong just to make you guys feel good about yourselves. So we bet 2 points each. Whoever has the most points in the end of Stump the Squad gets the round of the week. I'm going to swing this down to my man at the bottom, Mr. Jonathan Sawyer, with his Eagles gear, showing off those dates for the weekend.
Defending.
The first stumper of the night.
Show that black jersey up, boy.
Will you stump the squad? Take it away.
Probably not. So here's a pretty easy one. But how many times has the Super Bowl gone into an overtime? 1, 5, 0, or 3?
1.
Mike says 1.
Say it again. 1, 5, 3.
1, 5, 0, and 3. How many times has the Super Bowl gone into overtime?
I'll go 1. I'll go 1.
Copycat.
No,
which would be
kind of I know.
That's wild.
The Pats and the Falcons. So you're saying that's the only one that's ever gone into overtime.
Is that what I'm saying, Jamie?
That's what you are.
That's not what I said.
That's the most recent one.
That might be what Mike said. That's not what I'm saying.
But that's the only one that's gone to overtime.
Are you sure about that?
So if I keep
you remember.
Hold on. What's Jamie's answer?
Mr. Dances with
I'm going back. No overtime.
Yeah.
It probably is one.
Oh, now you're on board with it. All right.
All right, so I have successfully stumped no one. It is
Yeah.
one.
It's just the Pats and Falcons. That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
So
Because I recalled that one, them saying in
I thought that was a good one. I thought there was more though. I thought there was more. I was
You
like,
would
oh,
think
I kept
of all
going back.
the-
There was so many blocks
actually,
in the
we-
80s.
I was
Yeah,
talking-
John would think.
I
there's more.
I was talking to Mr. Cinco about it, and like when you think about the Super Bowl, like back in like when it first started, like there was a lot of blowouts in that time.
There really
Like I was
was.
looking at the first one, it was like 38-10 and stuff like that. Like it was a lot of like lopsided games. Like so, we've
The
had a lot of.
closest one was Brady when he won his first one, where the Rams
Mhm.
at the time let him kind of go down the field, and that game was screaming overtime. And
Right.
somehow, Vinatieri had a different idea.
Mikey Mike, go ahead.
Okay. Mikey Mike and
The
the
funky
Funky
bunch.
Bunch.
The funky bunch.
Oh, because
In the comments.
because there's actually a 75% chance that this happens, if my
Yeah,
math is
baby.
correct.
Yeah.
Since the game was first played in the 1970-1971 season, how many times have two NFC East teams played in the NFC Championship game?
Oh, I saw this earlier, but I can't remember at all.
Say that again?
No,
I saw this earlier on Sports Center.
since
They
the
said
first
it.
and did they? I didn't even see that.
They showed it. I just don't remember the answer.
So, since the first NFC Championship game in 1970-1971,
Okay.
how many times have two NFC East teams played in it?
Give us
A, 3, B, 4, C, 5, D, 6.
3, 4, 5, or 6.
3.
Yeah, 3.
Pat and John say 3. Jamie?
The Niners have been in so many that they're gonna spoil the number from being high, so it's not 5 or 6. The Giants played, I know, in 2 minimum. I gotta go with 4.
You gotta
Okay.
go with 4? Do you
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
with
go with do you have to go with 4?
Yeah, I'm going 4.
All right, Mike. Go ahead.
John and Pat say 3. Jamie says 4. I have successfully stumped John and Pat.
He
72,
would remember nothing.
72, 73, 80, 81, 82, 83, and 86, 87.
All right.
All right, but who you want next, Mike?
Pat.
Okie dokie.
Okie
right.
dokie.
All right. This one comes from my friends out in the ether. Who started at QB for the Seahawks in the 1999 AFC wildcard round versus Dolphins? That is who started at QB for the Seahawks in the 1999 AFC wildcard round versus Dolphins. A. Matt Hasselbeck. B. John Kitna. C. Rick Muir. Or D. Seneca Wallace.
I think it's between Seneca and Matt Hasselbeck, but I want to say Hasselbeck.
Yeah.
Yes, Hasselbeck became the starter that year, and Kitna
Yes.
was the starter to begin the year. So
Correct.
actually, I'm going to go with A.
Hasselbeck.
Rick Muir.
I got 2 for Hasselbeck, 1 for Muir.
Yep.
Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped the squad. It is
What? Is it
John
Seneca?
John Kitna.
John
It was Kitna. I knew it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, I'm
I
out.
think you're right.
I knew
Otherwise,
Kitna was the starter. For some reason, I thought Hasselbeck took a job by that time in the season.
actually, I think it was Rick Muir.
Really?
Yeah, I believe Rick Muir started that year as the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that was the year Hasselbeck had that win in Green Bay. Remember? Oh no, that's when they switched to the
Either
NFC.
I think it's either
AFC,
two.
That's right. They switched to the NFC, and that's when Hasselbeck had that.
I'm
Green
not even
Bay.
gonna act like I know. I don't even know who's
Yeah.
The
starting.
fact that they're
It was like
AFC
it was
blew my
2000. It was 2000 or 01 when he beat Favre.
Mhm.
All right, so the scores, gentlemen, come down to Jamie holds the lead at 2, Pat and Mike are at 0, and I'm done at -4. So
Done.
done. So you're next, Jamie.
All right, gentlemen. This one should be easy for you guys. So
Wait.
since
See.
somebody has to pick a basketball team pretty soon, I think I need to have an official one as well. But I kind of.
Yeah, for real, bro.
I like it. I like it.
When we first started being friends, it was OKC. Now it's Phoenix.
No, it's still OKC. I ride with OKC. I don't let my teams go. I just, SGA all the way, baby.
All right,
So,
go for it.
who leads at this moment after the third fan All-Star voting? Who is the leader right now in the NBA for the fan voting? Is it Steph, Giannis, Durant, or LeBron? Who's the current leader after 3 rounds of fan voting? So who's the fan favorite right now leading the All-Star voting in the NBA? Steph, Giannis, Durant, or LeBron?
LeBron.
We got one LeBron.
Durant.
We got one Durant.
Giannis.
We got one Giannis. Say his last name.
He can.
Thank
He
you.
can.
Antetokounmpo.
He taught me.
Antetokounmpo.
He taught me.
I have
Me. He hate me.
successfully stumped Pat and Mikey.
No.
Jamie. I was just talking to Trey earlier, and he told me, he's like, I can't believe, he goes, it's crazy. I'm like, what? He goes, LeBron is still leading fan voting here after like 20 years of playing.
Yeah.
And he literally said it to me. So I was like, oh, okay.
Stupid.
So that means.
You know how stupid that is?
Why is that stupid?
Everyone's stupid.
Why is that stupid?
I lost. Good job, John.
Jamie gets to stay. All right. Jamie is week 42 champion.
Good job, Jamie.
And once again, breaks the tie with John for second place.
All right.
All of my own for second place. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Christ.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jamie wins with 2. He won with 2 points this week. So, Jamie, take it away with your rant of the week.
I'll take the scrape. So, gentlemen, living in the wonderful state of Florida and obviously being on the west coast of Tampa, all the talk in the sports radio this week was speculated on where is Brady going to end up next. And somehow in the news, it popped up that the Washington Commanders somehow have the second best odds to land Tom Brady. And I don't know where that came from the franchise, but it would be very interesting to me that he would leave the NFC South and go to a division that's younger, faster, and full of very hungry defensive-led teams at the moment that will do an absolute number on him and probably cause him to retire before he can end the season. So I don't get why the talk has to go immediately to Brady and Aaron Rodgers, and I hate it because we're in the middle of the playoffs and the headlines still go to 2 quarterbacks that do not play a role anymore in the season. They take away from 2 great storylines. The first one being that the game we never got to see and the emotions that game is going to bring this weekend and how much of a treat it's going to be for us as fans to see that game finally. And hopefully, boy, DH is on the field or in the stadium for that one. And if he is, maybe my Bengals pick won't come to fruition. And being an original Niners fan growing up, first Super Bowl I ever saw, my dad taught me to love the game. Joe Montana and Jerry Rice were as good as they got. All right. Rekindling that once again last year was the best game you could ever see as somebody who hates the Cowboys. Having another shot at San Fran and knowing that they're not going to beat them is the best feeling right now going into this weekend, and I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the playoffs this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Fuck all the talk of Brady and Rodgers. Let's keep it focused on the better storylines, which is the quality of games and play we will see this weekend with the young guns and the rivalries that are being reborn. And I'm just excited for more NFL football. Let's go, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
It's on the way.
Boy.
I have to say,
Boy.
with all the disagreements that we have in our sports teams and topics and stuff, I'm glad we can all come together
And hate
hate
the
Cowboys.
Yes.
Fuck the Cowboys.
It's fuck the Cowboys every day.
I'm just tired of seeing them every week. So.
And I agree with you, Jamie, by the way. Why would Brady want to come to a division that just put 3 playoff teams in
Yeah.
and are all young?
Yep.
Could potentially put 4 if Washington didn't fumble
Right.
on the
Yep.
stretch.
Right.
So it's like I agree with you. Like in the defenses are top. in the top 5 in the league, I think the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants are all in there. So it's pretty scary. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Jamie, congrats on the Week 42 win.
Yes. Congratulations.
Tune into the football games this weekend, everyone. We'll be back next week. I will not be on the show, so Mike will be hosting next week. So hopefully not with a sad face.
No, happy face, please.
Let's go Warriors.
I don't
Make
want
sure,
to
make,
lose.
make sure you like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We'll see you here next week. Have a good weekend, everyone.